Hello, students. In today's lecture, in continuation with earlier lecture of concept of MBO, we are going to learn what are the characteristics, merits, and demerits of MBO. In last lecture, we saw the contribution of Peter Drucker, that this concept is coined and propounded by Peter Drucker in 1954. And what is this concept about that we have seen in last lecture? Also, we studied the definition and MBO strategy also. So, in continuation with that, in today's lecture, we are going to see the characteristics of MBO. So, MBO is management by objectives, and in earlier lecture also I mentioned that whenever you are setting objective for your subordinate, both superior and subordinate need to actively participate. Okay, so the first characteristic of MBO is superior subordinate participation. So both superior and subordinate will sit in front of each other. That means a face to face interaction is very necessary, important, so that superior knows about what kind of objective has to be set for the subordinate. And of course, the objectives are to be set according to the capacity, ability of that subordinate. Right. So both have to participate very actively whenever you are deciding your objective. That is the first point. Then the second one is creation of friendly and cooperative environment. Now, students, what happens here is that whenever you're setting your objective, you come and meet each other, that is, superior subordinate are having a good kind of interaction with each other. Then often there are meetings, that means both superior and subordinate meet each other oftenly to discuss about the progress of the objectives. That means whether they are able to achieve the objectives, whether there are necessary certain changes to be made in the objectives, right? So what happens because of this, it leads to meeting of minds, it leads to continuous interaction between superior and subordinate. And if you want to develop any kind of relationship, your communication is very important, right? So frequently if you communicate with your superior, and vice versa, if your superior is also frequently communicating with the subordinate, it develops a good healthy relationship, right? And this relationship gets converted into a very friendly environment, friendly and cooperative environment, because every individual, every department is having its own objective, and you individually cannot achieve your organizational objective unless and until your colleagues, your subordinates, your superior, they support you and they cooperate you, right? So MBO definitely creates a very friendly and a cooperative environment where everybody is having good relationship with each other and everybody is willing to cooperate each other to achieve its objectives. Then the third point is leads to meeting of minds. As I said in the first point itself, that superior subordinate, they frequently meet, they communicate with each other, a friendly environment is created, and this leads to meeting of minds between superior and subordinate. Okay, so that this is the benefit of MBO. Then the next point comes over here is that it gives autonomy to people to set the goals, objectives, and performance criteria for themselves. Now, what happens because of MBO? MBO gives you autonomy. Autonomy means a liberty, a freedom to people to set the goals. Whatever goals or objectives are set or the performance criteria is being set, it is set with the consent of the subordinate who is going to achieve the objective himself by making use of his own ability and capability, right? So the freedom is being given to the superior and the subordinate, that you can set your own objective, you can set your own target according to your ability and just go for achieving that target, right? So this autonomy is being given to the people. Then next is support from superior. In earlier point also I mentioned that cooperative environment is developed, and this cooperation or cooperative environment or cooperative um, environment cannot be created unless and until your superior, that is your boss, is supporting you, isn't it? So whenever you are having any difficulty in achieving your objectives, your superior is always there to support you, to guide you, and to direct you, right? So his support is very important, not only your immediate superior but also your top management, right? So your boss has to be with you always. He has to be there to support you all the time, to look after your difficulties, to solve your difficulties, and if you succeed in your work, to appreciate you. So every time your superior has to be very supportive role, he has to play it. So that role is played in MBO itself. Then joint goal setting is the next point, where of course both superior and subordinate, they come together and they set their goals. Now in MBO, not only goals or targets or objectives are set for individuals but also for department also, and also for the organization as a whole. So once an individual achieves his own objectives, departmental objectives are achieved, and when the departmental objectives are achieved, automatically the organizational objectives are achieved. So it is a step by step process which helps in achieving the goals or objectives of the organization as a whole. The next is direction for conscious action. As I said, that superior support is very important. At the same time, his direction and guidance plays very important role. Whenever your subordinate is having any problem, any difficulty in achieving his objectives, then your superior is there to guide him and show him the right direction for conscious action. Next is role clarity. Role clarity here, it means that your individuals are very clear about what kind of role they are playing in the organization, what is their responsibility in achieving the organizational objectives. These things are made very clear in MBO. Therefore, we find that in MBO, none of the individual is confused as to what is my role in the organization, right? So there is role clarity, you can see, in MBO. Next is objectives at all the levels. As I said, that not only objectives are set for individuals but for also for groups, for teams, for department, and for organization as a whole. So objectives are set all at all the levels, right? So when at individual level you achieve your objective, your group level you achieve your objective, one after the other. It is interconnected, it is interlinked, and at last your organizational objectives are achieved. Then the next point is accountability. Accountability means you're answerable to someone, right? So in MBO, as we have seen in MBO strategy, that once your objectives are set, your superior will take a periodic review as to see how much you have succeeded in achieving the objectives. If you are having any difficulties, he will solve them. If you if the superior thinks that individual is unable to achieve his objectives within the specific period of time, or those objectives are beyond his reach, that means they are too difficult for an individual to achieve them, then definitely that superior is going to make certain changes in the objectives and he is going to reset the objectives, right? But at the same time, if you are unable to achieve the objectives, then you are answerable to your superior, that what are the reasons why you as an individual are unable to achieve your objectives. So that is accountability. And when you are accountable or answerable to someone, you definitely do your work very properly and neatly within specific period of time. This is what is being expected in MBO. And next is periodic review of performance. In MBO strategy, we saw that after setting the objectives or the superior will take a periodic review. That review may be after 1 month, quarterly, or after 1 week. It depends again on the decision of the management, that what should be the time period to be decided to take a periodic review. So this period, because of this periodic review, the superior comes to know that whether your individuals or subordinates are able to achieve their objectives or no. So that is the last characteristic of MBO. Okay, moving towards the importance of MBO. Why MBO is important in organization? What are its benefits? Right. So the first one is it leads to self-control and self-development. Now, self control and self development means what? Self control means here, when you set objectives for your individuals just day and night think about those objectives and strive hard to achieve them. Right. So because of this, they are controlling themselves, and they are not trying to divert their attention to somewhere else. That means, suppose, as an individual, you spend time for entertainment, for personal things, for family. But when you are given this objective, what happens that you try to control yourself, you try to not to waste time on other unnecessary things, and you focus your attention on achieving the objectives within specific period of time. So this leads to self control. You start controlling yourself, you plan your schedule, you try to achieve that or implement that plan and achieve your objective, isn't it? So that leads to self control and self development. How it is possible in MBO? Because in MBO you learn to take your decisions, you learn to solve your own problems, you learn to be successful, right? So you learn from your failures also. So what happens because of this, it adds a different shades to your personality, and this leads to self development or personality development, we can say. Then the next one is active participation of all the people leads to team spirit. So what happens because of MBO? As I said, that in MBO, not only a superior and subordinate meet each other while deciding the objectives, but their active participation is very necessary. And every time you have to actively participate in setting of your objectives and your periodic review, and you have to give good results to your management, right? So it leads to team spirit. The whole team work day and night to achieve the objective. So that's the importance of MBO. Next is it develops a work environment throughout the organization which is goal oriented and target driven. Now what does this mean? This means that a good work culture is developed in the organization which is goal oriented. That means every individual in your organization is working to achieve the objectives, right? So what happens because of this? Everybody is day and night working very hard, focusing their attention on the objectives and trying to achieve them. So we can say a good healthy work culture, a work environment is created in the organization. Next, it is result oriented, realistic, and effective. Of course, it is result oriented because you're accountable. You have to, I mean, whatever objectives are set, you are supposed to give results to the superior. And if you are unable to give the results, then you are answerable to the management that why you are unable to achieve the objective. So, definitely, it is result oriented, realistic, and effective. Next, it induces discipline, dedication, and decisiveness in the organization and activates for superior performance. Now, what does MBA do? It brings about self discipline. Okay, because as I said, self control is one of the shade which is being added to your personality. You become self control, you try to control yourself, you become more disciplined because your objectives are set. You have to achieve those objectives within specific period of time. So a kind of discipline is developed, and you dedication means you are, thoroughly, you are fully involved in your work because you want to achieve your best, right? I want to achieve my objective. So that dedication kind of, quality gets developed in your personality. And decisiveness in the organization and activates for superior performance. You try to give your best performance because when in MBO, when your objectives are achieved, you get rewards, right? And rewards are in the form of promotion, and there is nobody in this world who don't want promotion, right? You always have the urge as an individual to climb the higher level, managerial level, right? So that urge gets satisfied if you perform very superiorly and if you achieve your objectives within time period, right? So you learn to make decisions. Decision making power also gets developed. And the last one is due to its flexibility, changes can be made as and when required, where personnel become mentally prepared for accepting the change. Now, MBO is a flexible process where, in the periodic review, if superior finds that his subordinate is unable to achieve the objective, then he can make changes in the objective. So, in that respect, we can say the MBO is very flexible, it's not rigid at all. So you can make changes whenever it is required by your subordinate. And where your individual or where your subordinate is also mentally prepared for accepting the change, right? So flexibility is another important characteristic of MBO, where you can make changes in your objectives. Okay, so students will stop today here, and tomorrow we'll go for merits and demerits of MBO. Thank you.